Okay guys, welcome back to EAK TV. I'm delighted to have Alex Dreyfus with me today, the CEO of ChiliZ. Alex, how are you finding Delta Summit?
Well, pretty busy to be fair. I've been living in Malta for 12 years, so I've seen a lot of events, but this event is very successful and it shows how the ecosystem is going to grow in the next few years.
Okay, so why do you think sports is such a fertile ground for blockchain?
Sorry, what?
Why do you think sports is such a fertile ground for blockchain?
We did, our company, we decided to actually tokenize sports teams. So we made a deal with Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, Juventus as well, and there is more to be announced very soon. And the idea is tokenization is not just about financial services. It's not just about changing the currency and changing the world, you know. We believe that we can innovate and use technology to create something else. In our case, we used tokens and we use blockchain to give more power to the fans. So we are creating tokens for football teams through our platform, allowing them to vote on what the teams are looking for.
And can you just explain to our viewers like what kind of things that the fans could vote for example?
Sure. So first of all, to understand, what we are doing is we are creating like what we call a fan marketplace. So you're going to have a mobile app called Socios.com where you're going to be able to buy the token of PSG, Juventus and the other teams, 50 teams. And once you hold these tokens, you're going to be able to vote on what the team is asking you. Now it's up to the teams to decide what they want to ask you, because at the end we are just the marketplace, we are just the middleman. The biggest teams is going to be mainly about cosmetic, about what's going to be the color of the jersey, what's going to be the next summer tour in Asia, or whatever. Some smaller team is going to be maybe about the coach or a player. It's going to be much more like sports related. But that's going to take time. There is a lot of education that needs to be done. So we'll give it a bit of time. It's, again, as I said, it's about education.
Which leads me on to my next point. How have you found explaining blockchain to the football community?
So I'm going to tell you the sad and naive trick that make it work. We did raise $60 million earlier this year, and having money helps. Meaning that when you talk to football clubs, the fact that you engage saying that they're going to make money and they're going to generate revenue out of it helps quite a lot. Now, the reality is football clubs also do want to innovate, and football clubs want to get closer to their fans. And the solution and the narratives that we are pushing and building is exactly in that direction. So that's kind of the mix of fan engagement and fan monetization that makes sense for them.
Okay, so I mean we're a blockchain agency based in London. Are you currently negotiating with any Premier League sides?
Yes, we are negotiating. I mean, our focus was, we announced PSG first, which was the top one in France. We announced the Juventus, which is the number one in Italy. In UK, it's a little bit different because you have a lot of very big teams. So we're talking with the, I would say on purpose, a narrow number of the top 10, so less than top 10, on purpose to focus on the biggest ones. And we hope to announce our first Premier League team end of October, mid-November, we see. But we'll have like 2 to 3 probably by the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the amount of fans right now who obviously can't go to games, or I mean, for Manchester United, for example, my team, you know, they've got lots of fans in Asia. You know, this is really going to bring them on board. They can actually make decisions that will actually change their football club.
That's the point. I mean, the idea is football clubs know how to engage and monetize with their local local audience, local demographics. In your case, you live in London, so you have to take the train when you want to go there, etc. But that's still feasible. But for the 150 millions, literally, fans that are in Thailand, Indonesia, Japan, China, Korea, how do you engage with them? You can sell merchandising, okay, cool story, but that's not scalable. So what can you do digitally that connect with them? And that's what we are pushing.
So as you mentioned, you've already got a partnership with PSG and Juventus. When can their fans start? When can their fans expect to see you know, ChiliZ actually integrating with their clubs? So
the launch of the platform/product will be end of Q1, early Q2 next year. The idea is to be ready for the next season. So next season is kicking off in August. I think we have some summer tour in July, but more or less the idea is March, April it's starting, and all the what we call a fan token offering, which is like an ICO, will start in end of Q1.
And do you see the ChiliZ or Socios project evolving from football into other sports?
Yes, totally. Originally, we came from the esports space. So esports was the first sport we wanted to push, and we decided to, I would say, pivot in a way to accelerate our growth in traditional sports, because it's much bigger and it's going to be more successful, obviously. But we will go in cricket in India, we'll go in baseball in Asia, we'll go in basketball in US. There is many sports we can get in. It's just we need to start somewhere.
So let's fast forward 5 years from now. Where do you want ChiliZ to be?
There is two things. ChiliZ will be hopefully token/currency that will be entertainment focused in order to. Socios is the first application of our own token, but we have many other ideas and many other initiatives. We really want to be a bridge between mainstream and cryptocurrency. We don't see ourselves as a financial platform to connect with ETF and all this stuff. That's not my background, and that's not what we believe is fun. We think that to grow cryptocurrency, we need to connect with more fun, cool stuff, sports, entertainment. There is a lot of things we can evolve, and we think our branding, ChiliZ, can be a little bit unique. I have 1,000 ChiliZ. I have 1 million ChiliZ. Is a little bit more mainstream that I have 1,000 Bitcoin and whatever. So we see. We don't want to compete with the major currency, obviously, but we want to connect that with the biggest brands that exist in the world.
Okay, so obviously Malta right now is at the forefront of regulation in the blockchain space. What is your philosophy on regulation in blockchain?
I come from the online gambling business, which used to be regulated. So I even being part of some regulation framework in France and in US to define laws back in the years. So here I was lucky enough to arrive after the framework. We're still being part of the consultation of that. So it's cool to give a feedback. I think it's necessary. I think it's, I would say, mandatory. As an entrepreneur, I love it and I hate it. Because I love it because it helps us and it gives some safety and security. I hate it because regulation sometimes doesn't fit at all what we could do, how we could bid. So you need to find the right balance. You need to be sometimes multi-jurisdiction as well, to be allowed to do things here in Malta and to have the flexibility and the creativity to do some other wild things in other jurisdictions to innovate and grow your business.
Absolutely. So we know that obviously you guys are based in Malta, right? And Binance have got an office here now. I understand Binance invested quite heavily in your project a few months back. What has their investment helped you guys achieve?
Spending money, I guess. So we did raise $60 million. Binance was a significant partner, not the biggest by far. But Binance is more like a strategic partner for us. We work together on other projects. I learned a lot. For me, working with them was more a way to educate myself, and that's what I value the most. And the money is great, of course, but the money is irrelevant when, I mean, what matters is what we learned. In Malta, they are setting up their operation. We also have OKX that is moving in Malta, which we helped a little bit. And all of this became because I had like Asian roots. We have Asian investors in my equity business. And so the world is small enough to being able to connect everybody.
And finally, for the ChiliZ and Socios communities, do you have any news or any updates you can share with us today?
I will, but I will not tell them today.
Okay, thanks Alex, that's EOK TV.